Aloha, beautifuls! Welcome to the Woman Unleashed online retreat. My name is Amber Quealy Mailani Benici, and I am very excited to be here with you today. We're going to be doing a little writing, so I hope that you have your materials list, including your journal, something fun to write with. I got a pen. You can have a fancy marker if you want something like that. Your cup of some yummy beverage. I'm drinking tea today. Mary, what are you drinking today?
Oh, I'm loath to show you only water from a bamboo glass.
Well, it's a very, if y'all noticed here, like Mary's doing the blue thing, I've got the red thing going on. We've got, like, we are the opposite ends of the spectrum today, but we're gonna have a great time. So if this is your first time, if this is one of your first sessions with us, I just want to welcome you and let you know that, this is your time. This retreat is for you to slow down, to tune inwards, to realign with the you within, so that you can just, when you're making choices, when you're looking at what you want, that you're making them choices based on like what you want, not just based on like whatever's happening to you from the outside world. And so whatever you need to do to get present, get grounded, how I like to start. So we're going to get present together before we jump in and before I introduce you to Mary. Okay. So if you want to just with me, close your eyes for a moment, and anything that's been going on earlier today or earlier this week, any distractions from the past that are pulling you from this moment, let's inhale in and exhale and release. Next, noticing if there's anything to come that you're worried about or thinking about in the future, anything that's pulling you from this moment, bring your attention back here. Inhale in, exhale and release. And our third and final breath, smelling this moment together. Inhaling in and release. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And I get to introduce to you our beautiful guide today. So Mary Reynolds Thompson, I already teased you a little bit, so we're going to be doing this a writing practice. So she's the founder of Live Your Wild Soul Story. Okay, does that not sound amazing? It's not just like, she's one of my people, Woman Unleashed, Wild Soul. Yes, it's all of that, right? She's an award-winning writer. She's a facilitator of journal and poetry therapy, and she's super passionate about healing and the divide between like the inner and outer and nature, between earth and soul. She really believes that being connected to earth, we become more creative, which I 1,000,000% agree, more connected and alive. So she's an instructor for the eco-feminist nonprofit Tree Sisters. She's core faculty for the Therapeutic Writing Institute, and she speaks and teaches around the world. Her books are Embrace Your Inner Wild, 52 Reflections on an Eco-Centric World, and Reclaiming the Wild Soul, How Earth's Landscapes Restore Us to Wholeness. She's working on her third book, Wild Soul Woman, which we're going to kind of touch into some of that a little bit today. And you can find her at MaryReynoldsThompson.com or below in her bio. But today, you get her here. So Mary, welcome. So happy you're here with us.
Amber, it's just delightful to be with you.
I was so excited when, just so y'all know, for the way, I did Mary's bio introduction, but I had heard from Mary from my friend and client and one of my dear sisters, Elizabeth Foley. She had Mary on her online retreat, the Art of Spiritual Living. And she just like was raving about you. She's like, she was so amazing. Everyone loved her. I'm like, I need to have her. And so Mary was one of the first people I reached out to. I'm like, oh, I really want to connect with Mary. So we get, and I love writing because if you're in my community, you know that I'm I'm one of those like hidden writers that people don't know about, but it's like, that's like the thing that I really, really love. Even though people think I'm the artist, I love writing. So I'm excited today.
Well, my dear, would you like me to dive in?
Let's totally dive in. Let's, like, you've got the waves behind you. I'm picturing like you.
So thank you for that beautiful and heartfelt introduction. And thank you for the breathing. I needed those breaths. So now I'm here with you and your community, and I'm really happy to be so. And I want to start with a poem because I love poetry. And I think that the images in poetry really speak directly. In fact, metaphor and imagery tends to be this beautiful bridge between the mind and the body. So when we really want to connect our language to the soul, to our bodies, psyche and soma, then metaphor is really rich. So this is by Rilke, Widening Circles. I live my life in widening circles that reach out across the world. I may not complete this last one, but I give myself to it. I circle around God, around the primordial tower. I've been circling for thousands of years. And still, I don't know. Am I a falcon, a storm, a great song? So today, I want to take you on a journey of widening circles. Amber, as you said, you know, my great deep passion is connecting really earth and soul, inner and outer nature, which has been sort of falsely divided. And as I developed this sort of ecological model, I began to realize it was also a model for rewilding our creative processes. And in this case, the writing process. So I just want to take you through this little three-circled model. So have you ever sat down to write and felt totally wrapped up in your small little ego, right? Inner circle. Fear, don't know what to say, who wants to hear what I have to say, can't think, don't feel creative, dry as dust. We know that feeling, right? You know, we know it. So it's a place where the inner critic tends to jabber in our ear. It's a place that we hold ourselves small and tight and contracted. And that's okay, because that's part of all of our processes. We don't have to make it wrong, but it's only one part. Then there's that stage of creativity where we begin to dance and make connections with all kinds of things. It's really right brain. It's where we begin to play with metaphor. It's where you sit down to write and you surprise yourself. You go, oh my gosh, I sat down to write about this, and suddenly I realized how deeply connected it is to that. So I call this center, if the first center is the egoic center, where we're all wrapped up in our egos, this is the ecological realm, where we are actually creating an ecology. And an ecology is simply where we realize that everything is connected to everything else. So if you want to write, start somewhere, and it will inevitably lead to where you want to go if you trust the process, that process of connection. And it's a really rich, joyous place to write from. Then there's this even larger, more spacious, deeply sacred place that occasionally we as creative spirits get to tap into. And this I call the cosmological circle. And it's that place where we sit down and we know completely and entirely that we are channeling, that the wisdom that is pouring through us is beyond us, more than us, is really a gift, in a sense, from the universe, is a gift from the divine spark, is a gift from the gods and the goddesses, however you like to call it. And we are simply the vessels. that have nothing else to do in a way but to remain as open as possible to that experience. And of course, we dance back and forth. You know, there are moments where we are in that cosmological place and we wake up from our writing and we go, what happened? You know, I don't even know where the time went. And there are times when we enchant ourselves in the ecological place where we make all these splendid and have all these splendid insights and make these intuitive, insightful connections. And then there are the days where we just go, wah, wah, I'm so small, it's not working. And it's all good. It's really good. But it's good to know and to play and to feel the energy of these different places.
Yeah, I'm just even noticing when you're talking that, I mean, this place of not even just in writing, just in life, excuse me, that I experience life this way, right? That there are days that I feel very small and then it's just about me and what I'm worrying about, and other days that I'm feeling more connected with others and blended, and then other days I really do feel like a channel. I feel like spirit's moving through me. I'm just supposed to be the words, whatever. I don't even know what's happening. But, you know, it's an amazing...
Yeah, so Amber, thank you for saying that, because quite honestly, I think any creative process is a mirror of life. I mean, that's it. And if you're deeply stuck in your creativity, you're stuck in your life somewhere, right? We know that. We know that. So, and especially when we realize everything is a mirror of everything else, our art, our creativity, our writing is certainly a mirror of what's going on inside of us in deeper ways. So thank you for pointing that out. Yeah. So is this a good time to begin a process where they can begin to experience these widening circles?
Oh my gosh, I bet they're like, yes, let's do it, Mary.
Let's not just hear about it, doing, doing in the head. Let's actually embody it.
Exactly.
So I'd like to begin with a visualization, and I'm going to take you through a 3-step writing process. The writing here, it's not about, oh, it has to be magnificent. It's just simply allowing what's in you to land on the page. Amber is going to be so beautifully writing from these prompts, and then we're going to talk about them a little and have some reflection, which I hope will deepen your own understanding of the journey you're taking. But let's begin, as Amber did right at the beginning, with a few deep breaths. And allow yourself, if you're sitting down, to kind of really plant your feet on the ground, plant your hips on the chair, feel the weight and kind of tangibility of your own body. Take a few deep breaths and really invite you to shut your eyes if that's comfortable, or if not that, to just soften. So you're not kind of in focus, but you're softening your gaze. So eyes shut or softened gaze. And now I want you to conjure up a place that feels deeply meaningful to you, that holds a power for you, that you know, perhaps it's a place you walk every day, perhaps it's a place you visited on vacation, perhaps it's a place that you saw a photograph of once and you've never been, but there is something about this place that absolutely calls to your soul. So whatever kind, just conjure that place up. Allow it to rise in you, the light, the weather, the terrain. Take in the fragrances, the texture of the place, how you feel in this place. Where does this place live in your body, in your heart, in your belly? Just breathe it in and really step in to this place. And now walk into this landscape. Really allow yourself to walk into it. Perhaps there's a path or a beach to walk along or a road. Just allow yourself a trail to take a journey into this landscape. And look around you. Notice what's in front of you, the side of you, above you. Pay deep attention. Listen. And as you walk, you sense you're walking towards something, some part of this landscape. Everything or anything from a tiny pebble to a tree, to a pond, whatever it is, there is something scat on the path. Something wants your attention, and it may be something that you think is utterly delicious and beautiful. And it might be something that's going, oh, I don't know that I really want to look at this, but it's still calling to me. So find that thing and really, really look at it. If it's possible, touch it, hold it, put your hands on it, your body against it, and just be with it. And when you're ready, open your eyes, get out your journals, and just spend 2 minutes. I'm going to give you just 2 minutes to describe this thing that you've been called to. And just another 30 seconds. And bring it to a close. And now read back through what you wrote. And I want you to do 2 reflection rites. This, name whatever it is, this, whatever it is, makes me feel. This makes me feel. This, name it, reflects my. This, name it, reflects my. So if you just complete with finishing those 2 lines. Wonderful. And Amber, if you're done and are game to share a little about what emerged and particularly the reflection rights. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So you want me to read what I wrote and then?
It would be beautiful. If you're willing, we'd love that. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Just y'all ladies know, if you know me, like I'm normally very just open. So I'm nervous just to share this so you know.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
The round rock is burnt orange and stands out on the pathway. When I pick it up, I notice a spiral turning inwards. And when I flip it over on its back, it looks just like the sacred pattern of a nautilus shell, sacred opening. But this rock makes me feel connected, and this rock reflects my spirit work.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm really touched by the imagery. I love that the spiral shape emerged. Did anything surprise you in that?
Yeah, well, it was interesting when we went on the journey, like I knew that I was going towards a cave, that there was a cave that I just pictured, but then like we were on the pathway. I think you had said to pick some, I can't even remember, but I was like, oh, there's something on the pathway. So I was like, I hadn't gotten to where I was headed. So I thought I was going somewhere, right? And then I'm like, wait, you're changing my whole visualization, right? And then I looked down and there was this orange rock, you know, and it was, the spiral was interesting, but yeah, it was a surprise when I flipped. I was like, oh, look at this. This is so cool. So
Right.
that
And I
was,
want to acknowledge, I love that you said that I was headed somewhere and then boom, no, got to get. So normally I would give you even a little bit more time for something like this, but we are playing within the sacred circle that we have today. So, but I think you point to something beautiful. So many of you may want to go back in your imaginations and allow yourself even more time when you do this again, because you can redo any of these. So you notice this is wonderful. You're seeing something. It's still to some extent outside of you, right? This object, you've done some reflection work to begin to connect this thing that drew your attention and begin to see the relationship that it has, that the relationship between the two of you. So this is still, we're moving from the egoic here. We've been a little in the egoic, and now in this next writing exercise, we're going to go into this ecological circle. So take a moment and just reconnect in with your object. Shut your eyes, take a few deep breaths. Really feel it again, whatever it be. And now pick up your journal and pen again. And this is your writing prompt. I want to learn how to speak the language of whatever that be, you know, of your object. I want to learn how to speak the language of. And I'm going to give you just a little over 2 minutes to write. Let it flow. And just follow your intuition. I want to learn to speak the language of. And begin to find your stopping place. And when you're ready, read over what you wrote. This is a journal practice that I recommend to everybody, which is we often write, but we don't reflect on what we write. So read back through what you wrote and just write one line. What do you notice? What surprises you? Just write a line of reflection. What do you notice? What surprises you? How does it make you feel? Anything like that. Beautiful. Thank you. And thank you, everyone. And, you know, I just want to say this because I think, you know, I love this whole thing of Woman Unleashed. And I think that what you're doing is just modeling that you're so willing to share what's inside of you in the moment when it's raw. We all know that what we write is raw. This is not normally the kind of writing that we share publicly. This is normally the writing we do for ourselves. So Amber, thank you for modeling that incredible just willingness to be vulnerable. I just think it's beautiful.
Thank you.
So my dear, can you share what you wrote, or at least if not that, the reflection, either or both is beautiful.
Yeah, I'll share. So I wrote, I want to learn how to speak the language of the Nautilus rock. There is a part of me who wonders how I can speak to a rock. I mean, it's a rock, but it did speak to me when it asked me to pick it up. So holding it in my hand, I realized I can't listen with my ears. I have to listen with the ears of my womb. So I place the rock over my belly button and I feel the rock start to pulse, and my body recognizes that pulse. It starts to relax, to open, to feel peace, and it lets go more and more.
Beautiful. The ears of my womb.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. I know, I loved it. I was like, oh, I love that. So, surprise.
Yeah.
So I wrote, I feel like I am awakening my intuitive guide to a new level. There is a spiraling in and trust with this wisdom, the wisdom of mothers before me.
Let's take a moment. Could you just read that again? That was so stunning.
Yeah. I feel like I am awakening my intuitive guide to a new level. There is a spiraling in and trust with this wisdom, the wisdom of mothers before me.
The wisdom of mothers before me. And I see now that beautiful circle and spiral of the Nautilus, which is also a womb and a container, and how I'm connecting your first piece with this piece and the echoing of certain imagery. And a thing that you said, which I think is so profound, is what you're really doing is getting into deep listening with nature here. And in that deep listening, you say, first of all, like, how can I speak? How can a rock speak? But then it does. And it doesn't necessarily speak in the way that a person speaks to us that might come in orally, but is actually spoken into a part of your body that you instinctively feel something, and something, a wisdom emerges in a different kind of a way. So you're modeling so many different aspects. And of course, this is the ecological circle where things do, we're so open now. We're opening ourselves up from that kind of tight, egoic, impermeable place to something that is much more porous, that is much more open to listen to that deep intuition.
I love this. I'm having so much fun. This is great, Mary.
So just notice, everybody, where you are, you know, just to really welcome you into this massive writing circle that we have, and just to feel that call and response between Amber and yourselves, between what's happening, and know that there's no wrong way to experience this. Your experience might be very different, and it's equally important. So just to feel that, and to know that whatever your experience in the moment is completely perfect. So now let's take a very deep breath. And maybe you want to move your body a little and open your arms and your chest. Ooh, because we are going into the cosmological circle. And so we want to be as open as possible. And this is where we take what that sacred, which is becoming increasingly sacred thing that we were drawn to, and we actually sort of bring it inside of us. We know it is completely inside of us. And so this writing exercise, same amount of time, is going to be the Nautilus rock, whatever it be, in me knows. The, whatever it be, in me knows. And you're going to speak from that place, from inside.
Yeah. Just, yeah, get ready. All right.
Good. And just begin to find your stopping place. Bring it to a close. And read back through it and do your reflection right. This is what I noticed. And bring that to a close. Good work, Amber. How was that?
It was surprising. I'm surprised when stuff comes. Like, really? Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. Wow. So please, if you're willing to share.
Yeah. Okay. The Nautilus rock in me knows I have wisdom that isn't mine. I don't have to be on my own, but trust. I come from generations, and just as my mothers before me gave me their wisdom, I pass mine along as well. I don't have to write it or impress it upon others. It is wisdom within. I have this, you have this, and indeed if we all tune into our own Nautilus rock, at the very center we are one, we are together, and we can let go into that spiral, that dance, be carried, surrendering inward. I know, I'm like, oh, I love my Nautilus rock.
Oh, that is utterly beautiful and so incredibly wise. Oh, so wonderful. The ancestors speaking through you too, just incredible. So your reflection right, did you just...
I did. This is what I noticed. Surrendering isn't a passive act. It comes from courage, and we do it together.
Okay.
I know. I was like, what the heck? I know. I was like, what?
So, wow. Okay. So I think, bless your beautiful unleashed heart, that you've really shown how moving from that initial stage, which was wonderful and interesting and beginning to make a connection to a deeper level of wisdom and understanding, to truly a sort of cosmic truth. That was utterly, utterly a stunning example. And one of the things I would just like to end with, other than saying, please, I want to see all that writing written. Will there be a place that it gets shared?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'm going to share all about that. You finish up and then we'll talk about that.
Good, good, because I can't even bear that that's not accessible in all kinds of ways. But the final thing I want to say is, you know, we spend a lot of time and money seeking gurus in this world, right? We've all done it, and we will continue to do it, no doubt. But the truth is, Theodore Roszak said something. He was really the guy who, anyway, it doesn't matter. He began a term called eco-psychology. But this is what he said, which I think is really important, because nature is all around us. Even if we live in the cities, we get the sky, we get a tree, we get a bird. The psyche is rooted inside a greater intelligence, once known as the anima mundi, the psyche of the earth herself that has been nurturing life in the cosmos for billions of years. So when you want to rewild yourself, rewild your writing practice, rewild your relationships, rewild all kinds of things, simply turn your attention to the natural world. It will give you the wisdom you seek.
Oh my gosh, I have chicken skin all over my body. I love that. I'm writing down your quote, write it to the natural. Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you, Mary. This was so amazing. I love this. And so, ladies, what I would love for you to do is for you to post in our Facebook group, share your writing. So, if you can share as much or as little as you want. I really want to see, like, when we get like around 2 and 3, like that's where I think the juice is. So I would love for you to share some of your writing if you want to do that. If you want to seek courage from one another and do that, we can do that together. Or even just for you to write some of your experience would be awesome. Like, what did you experience when you were doing this? What shifted for you? What awakened for you? And post in the group, and Mary and I will be in there, like going like, ah, like
Really?
our collective wisdom will be like, we are amazing, right? I know, perfect. And so yeah, the link is below for that. And then Mary, I know that you have something special for our people too who want to continue this rewilding of their writing practice. Can you share some about that?
Yeah, I just have a little booklet called Rewild Your Writing Practice. And then I put in brackets because I couldn't resist it, and your life, because I think if you rewild your writing practice, your life is going to get pretty rewilded too. And so it's a little book full of exercise writing explorations that you can enjoy and deepen this work.
I love it. So ladies, the link is right below here. I just want to encourage you because especially if you notice when you were doing it that you felt more connected, you felt more open, inspired, that part of the Woman Unleashed journey is for you to tap into that part of yourself. Like, that alive part is the one that we want to connect with. And so Mary's giving you a great opportunity for you to continue doing that through writing practice. So you can click on the link right below and access that. So Mary, thank you so much. This has been amazing.
Amber, thank you so much. You've been amazing. Thank you so much for just playing with me today. I'm so grateful to be in a circle, I know, of just wild, wonderful women, and maybe some men. I don't know. But anyway.
You know what? It's so funny. I know, if you're a man watching this, I know you're out. You know, you're out there. I say please for, but we know that you're out there too. Like, what are these women doing? I need to. All right. Well, ladies, I will be seeing you next time. See you in the Facebook group if you want to share in there. And other than that, keep your practice of tuning inwards, of nurturing yourself. Remember that you have time. You have time. You have time. And the earth is just giving you a great opportunity right now to listen to her and her wisdom. So sending you much aloha. Bye, everybody. Bye.